All right, we're going to go over the top tier SFMA. We're going to combine different sections. So I'm going to put all the cervical together. Then we're going to combine the two shoulder patterns. Then we're going to combine the multi-segmental flexion, extension, rotation together. And then we're going to combine single leg stance and deep squat, arms down. So we're going to start with flexion. So cervical flexion. You're going to have feet together, arms by your side, standardized position. And all you're going to have your patient do or client do is going to be flex their chin and try to touch their chin to their chest. Again, you make sure the mouth is closed so they're not opening up to touch their chest. So a lot of times I'll tell them to keep their tongue in the roof of their mouth. Go down, you can see here she's a good 2 finger lengths away from her chest. So that would be considered dysfunctional. Okay. And the other thing you're looking at with cervical flexion is a nice uniform curve. And you can see it's kind of flat here. You can see that. You can see a little bit of a hump here. So it looks like she has some kind of extension restriction of the CT junction, maybe a flexion restriction of the cervical spine. So not much of a nice cervical uniform curve. So that's what you're looking at for cervical flexion, the chin to chest and a nice uniform curve. Okay, make sure their mouth is closed. Come back up. Any pain with that? Okay, so you're always going to be identifying whether it's dysfunctional or functional and whether it's painful or pain-free or non-painful. Okay, painful or non-painful. And you're going to categorize that on that sheet. This should only take about 2 minutes to run through everything. All right? So that would be dysfunctional, non-painful. If you have any pain with any of these, let me know. All right? Next one is cervical extension. So feet together, arms by the side. We're going to have her go back as far as possible. Okay? And what you're looking at is this is 0, this is 90. You're looking at about 10 degrees from horizontal or 80 degrees of extension. So you're drawing an imaginary line from her chin to her forehead. Right? And you can see if that breaks at 10% or gets to that 10%. As far as you can go. That's really close. I'd say she probably has it there. Okay, but if you're unsure, get a goniometer or an inclinometer and measure it. I'd say that's probably good as far as 10 degrees. And then you're looking for a nice uniform curve. It's tough to tell here with her spine. It looks like she has a nice curve going on. Come back, let's do it again. You just want to make sure she's not dumping on the upper cervical. It looks like she's kind of dumping when she first starts out. So that might not be a nice uniform curve, so you want to pay attention to that. Do it one more time. You see up here, she kind of dumps when she first goes back. Okay. Then she continues back. So I'd probably say it's probably non-uniform spinal curve. So if you ever in doubt, just go ahead and break it out later. Be safe. It's better to call it dysfunction and break it out and find out it's not than to not call it one and then ignore it. All right. So that's extension. So you need 10 degrees and you need a nice uniform curve. Okay. Rotation. You're going to find the mid-clavicle mark. Right about here. And you're going to draw an imaginary line straight to the ceiling. You keep the arms by the side, feet together. You're just going to rotate to the right and see if that nose can break that plane, that perpendicular line. You can see she doesn't get to that 80-degree mark. Go on back for me. Do it again. You can see when she comes over here, she starts almost kind of like side bend here to try to get it. Okay, so you look for any kind of extension. Any kind of lateral flexion, any kind of flexion that she'll try to get that motion with. Okay. We do the other side, find the mid-clavicle line, go over towards me. Again, this side better. I shouldn't say that, but do you feel the difference side to side? So this side she probably gets to, she still wants to extend a little bit, so I'll correct her. Go back again, do it again. Okay. Let's turn the other way so the camera can see that one. So we're going to find the mid-clavicle. Right about here, you're going to draw that imaginary line up to the ceiling. Okay, now I'm going to rotate to the left. And you can see she still kind of wants to dump a little bit, but she gets a lot better motion there. I'd probably still call it dysfunctional, but she's extending. Okay, but greater motion on that left. So when you break her out, let's try to remember that. Remind me of that. Okay. Okay. So that's rotation. We're going to make sure that there's no extension, side bending, or flexion, and we're going to make sure she gets past that mid-clavicle, which is about 80 degrees.